Welcome back to the VMS Sportscast Week 4 preview. We've got a couple of other good games in addition to the game of the week. Ladio, we have a battle of unbeatens Thursday night with the South Hawks traveling to face Edinburgh North. At Edinburgh North.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's their first game they play at Edinburgh this year.
Yeah.
They finally got that turf put up, so it only took, what, a year, 2 years?
Yeah.
We were talking the other day, there's 5 unbeaten teams left in the Valley still, and 4 of them reside in 31-5A. I call them the 31-5A Fab Four.
Mm-hmm.
And it's South and Edinburgh North, PSG North and PSG, and the 4 play each other. Not all at once, but the PSG schools play each other, and Harlingen South is at Edinburgh North, so it's 2 big games. For South, I was talking to Coach Cherry earlier, Alan Cherry, and every week he talks about how he wants his team to keep moving forward and forward. He just doesn't want to fall back. Sometimes you can win 2 games, then you come on the 3rd one and you have a bad day, on offense, on defense, and you kind of have to go back to square one. South, so far in the first 3 wins, it seems that they're just getting better and better. And they faced a formidable opponent in McAllen Road last week, who was 2-0 at the time. They went in there and took care of business. They won 44-14. They have another one. It's probably the biggest test to date right now with Edinburgh North, who's also 3-0. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to be a cakewalk. It's not going to be easy for Harlingen South, and Coach Cherry knows it. Edinburgh North has a running back in Oscar Hernandez, who last year showed signs of being a good ball carrier, but the team as a whole was inexperienced. They didn't have the depth that other teams need. Right. And they have quarterback Brandon Ramirez, who's a decent passer, but he's a great runner. He can run with the ball if he has to. So Edinburgh North pretty much has 2 running backs in the backfield, and with a year under their belt, they're putting up not big numbers, but they're putting up decent numbers. The best number over there is the fact that they're 3-0. Mm-hmm. And Cherry knows this. He goes, we can't take them for granted. We got to go in there. And there's no secret to what they want to do. They got to go in there and stop that run, because if they can't stop that run for Edinburgh North, it's going to be a long day for Harlingen South, and we could see them lose their unblemished record.
This is the first time in how long that South the consensus #1 team in the Valley?
I'd say ever, probably. Yeah, I mean, and this is probably the best team South has ever had. In '95, they had a team that went 3 deep. They had a quarterback by the name of Gonzalo Gonzalez and a tight end, Ted Moore, who were a great 1-2 combo for them. They were coached by Alex Leal, who's now at Raymondville. That team went 3 deep.
And last year's team went
last year's teams went 3 deep. With Sean Messick at quarterback, they had Logan Brown at receiver, Corey Flowers. They had running back Michael Johnson. They had a bunch of weapons, a bunch of good athletes.
Yeah.
Sean Messick's back at quarterback, and they got an offensive line that was there all last year. They've been playing as some sophomores. They're all back as seniors, as 3-year starters. They have a running tandem of they run by committee. They have a running tandem, Philip Fouget and Steve Mata, and both guys on any given team, they can be 150 yard per game guys. This is by far, in my opinion, the best team South has ever had. You ask about being contestant #1. I don't think they've ever even been a #1 on anybody's poll, to be honest with you. Alan Cherry was blessed. He walked into a very good situation. At the same time, not just any coach can walk into that situation and win. Right. Cherry's been around. He knows how to handle, a team of this caliber, and he's done a great job so far of kind of keeping them, under control. He was saying, he goes, we don't read clippings. He goes, well, we do read clippings, but we try not to get soft. He goes, they got a great offense. I think the #1 offense in the Valley right now. Right. He goes, but we don't want to get soft. We don't want to let it go to our heads, and that's where he comes in his 25 years of coaching experience, and he's kind of kept them level-headed there.
Another Thursday night game that is going to be pretty good, I think, is San Benito and Brownsville Rivera at Sam's. They opened up 32-5A play. Those teams were off last week. I see San Benito really wanting to make a statement here, try to take it to Brownsville Rivera. Rivera's been able to move the football through the air with Jim Helms there.
Yeah.
They got a quarterback, Agustin Gallardo, who's having a solid year, and they have Richard Samano, who's caught 16 passes. That's second best in the Valley. So I think that could shape up to be a pretty good one, but I do expect San Benito to go in there and continue that momentum they got at Valley of Rio.
And what seems to be the problem in Brownsville overall is that nobody really has defense.
Right.
And that seems to be the case with Rivera. You know, if they had a little bit of, if they have their defense was a little bit better, a little bit more solid, you know, we could probably say that Rivera could hang in there with the Greyhounds for a while. But you know, they're going to move the ball. A Jim Helms team's always going to be able to move the ball. But right now they're not playing great defense. You know, I mean, I also see San Benito coming out on top in this one.
Then Friday will come. We got the Harlingen Cardinals trying to move on and move out from that loss in the Valley del Arroyo. You got Economides coming in, right?
Yeah, they got Economides coming to town, and Economides has a good defense. They haven't put up great numbers on offense. You know, Harlingen's just, you know, it's probably been the longest 2 weeks in Manny Gomez's life, you know, following the loss to San Benito. And they're coming. They've made some changes on offense, some personnel changes. They're going to go with Ryan Coit at quarterback. They're going to, you know, move some guys around. They're going to add some depth to their offensive backfield. They're going to come fired up, man. You know, I mean, the Manny Gomez coach team's not going to lack fire and intensity, but I think we're going to see them a little bit extra fired up for this game, knowing that, you know, it's tough to lose any game, you know, any game, and then have 2 weeks off or have a week off. But when you're the Cardinals and you lose to the Greyhounds, just as if the Greyhounds had lost to Harlingen and had that week off, you know, it just kind of it festers in there. It starts boiling up, and we're going to watch Harlingen explode on Friday night here against Economides. I take Harlingen. You know, and he needs to win over Economides in this one.
I also go with the Cardinals. I think this will be a good bounce-back win for them. They should take care of business at home.
And they got to, because then the next week they got Bird Bowl against the South team. That's you know, it's probably going to be one of the best Bird Bowls in the 15 years history of the game.
Really quick, in 32-5A, we got a double dip Saturday at Sam Stadium. Wasaco will face Hannah at 2 p.m., followed by an interesting Los Fresnos and Lopez matchup in the nightcap. So those should be some pretty good ones. But before that, I want to talk about PSJ and PSJ North. I mean, that seems to be, you know, besides the South Edinburgh North game, like you alluded to, this should be a good one as well.
It's going to be it's going to be your typical offense versus defense, and you know, PSJ has one of the best offenses in the Valley. They're second in the district behind South. And PSG North has one of the best defenses in the Valley. The best in 31-5A. You know, PSG and PSG North both have a lot of tradition. In recent years, it's been PSG North who's been the top school in that far San Juan Alamo region. I think that the secret, you know, to their success, which is why they beat Donna last week, was their defense. You know, they take pride in their defense. You know, Coach Orlando Garcia, you know, has those guys ready year in and year out, and they're at the point where it's not a question of are they going to be good. It's a question of how good are they going to be this year. And at PSG North, it's always going to start with their defense. And PSG hasn't had much success on defense themselves. They put up a lot of big numbers on offense, but I think that the difference here is going to be the Raiders' defense, led by Michael Giles, Danny Reyes, and they take it on Friday.
Well, that's the Week 4 preview of the VMS Sportscast. Thanks for joining us. Stick with us throughout the weekend, and early next week we'll recap this week and preview next week's game of the week.